Hello everybody and welcome once again to Top Hat Chat live with me, Street and Orb. Today on the channel we have been, we met up and we disinfected ourselves.
We did.
As per quarantine new Top Hat Chat ritual, because we're not in quarantine, so we're allowed to hang out together. First thing I'd like to say is we are going to be continuing these even if we end up in quarantine. We have contingency plans in place, so every week at 9 or 8:30 p.m. UK time, we will be doing these videos, and they will be live. And then we'll be going over onto twitch.tv/TopHatChat, where we will be playing games for you all. And we will always have two of us to keep up chat interaction. Anyway, now we've got that out of the way, I'd like to say, today on the channel, we are going to be talking about why we think the Gamecube is terrible. Because it is. And we're going to now delve into exactly why. So, I think it's important. I'm just going to grab chat up because I have a feeling that people are going to want to jump in with bits and pieces of this. So I'm going to make sure chat is ready. There we are. And yeah, so the GameCube was a very strange console because it felt like it was the very beginning of the mediocrity of Nintendo.
Interesting point. I kind of know where you're coming from.
It was the birth of Nintendo deciding that actually they don't want to compete with the big boys anymore.
Yeah, I think you could say it's when Nintendo decided to say, yo, we're going to run at our own speed. We're not either trying to keep up or overtake. We're gonna run at our own pace because we know we're going to sell consoles.
Well, that's what they thought. But the thing is that the GameCube didn't follow the general convention of what Nintendo liked to do, which was innovate. Obviously, the thing that everybody jokes about online is the innovation of the GameCube and the fact that the only innovation the GameCube actually had was a stupid black handle on the back of it. Which is a fact. That is the innovation that the GameCube come up with. And that was about it. Previous to that, I mean, you had the three-armed controller that the N64 had, which was a massive innovation. I mean, after that, you had motion controls. You
did, with the Wii.
Yeah, and the GameCube did nothing. Nothing of note.
It was, at least it was kind of a semi sort of comfortable controller.
We're talking about the handle.
The handle?
Yeah,
sorry,
the handle being an innovation.
I was reading something.
Oh, okay. We'll get to that.
Yes, the handle. Well, yeah, it's in case you wanted to treat it like a lunchbox.
That is true, but it's too small to actually hold any real lunch, except for if you're trying to go shopping today.
A small disc of ham.
Yeah,
one of
the teddy bear ham.
Yeah, you'd get a bitty bear ham in there.
Yeah, maybe some pom bears around the outside. Bear-based snacks.
Yeah, you see. So I think it's got potential.
No, it's terrible.
No, well, in case you want to do the whole cool thing about, yo, I'm going to take it round to my friend's house, and what I want to do is I want to carry the wires in a bag.
I have one. Hold on.
What do you have?
Just off screen.
Just off screen. Oh, you have a bag.
I have a bag.
A Nintendo GameCube bag.
Yeah, this was the 4Gamers one that I got, and I had this from when it came out.
That looks like a little cooler.
Yeah, and one thing I'd like to point out about this particular bag, because most of them came with this, okay, is this little bit at the top. You see that?
Yeah, that looks like the exact handle.
That's a handle. So why would I want one on the bag that I have to keep all the wires in, and on the actual console?
Well, what about when you want to pick it up to move it, to dust it?
Or to move it into the bag with the handle on that I can actually carry.
Yeah, see, look, when you get it out. Yeah, look, when you got it out just now, that was a nice thing to be able to have, right?
Well, getting it out of a bag is not a reason for it to be good. There we go.
Stop ragging on the handle. I think it was innovative, it was sleek.
Useless handle, and actually made it less of a cube. It wasn't a cube anyway, it was a cuboid.
Yes.
But yeah, useless. Absolutely pointless.
It's not.
Let's have a look at some of the other things that I hate about the GameCube. So, Talking about the fact that it decided it didn't want to compete anymore, one of the things that we do need to point out is the fact that it was incredibly underpowered compared to the other competitors at the time.
This is the whole idea that they're going to run at their own pace, embodied, in my opinion.
Which is fine unless you're racing against Usain Bolt or Mo Farah.
Different kind of speeds there.
It's like me going, well, I'm not going to try. I'm just going to go at my own pace. I'm not going to try anymore. I'm not going to try and win because I know I can't. You still try. Put the effort in.
I thought a lot of the games looked pretty on the GameCube. I think there was some nice, certainly on the Wave Race that they had on there. One of the jet ski games, the water effects was beautiful, as what's his face would say.
If you're going to make a reference,
Bernard
Matthews.
Beautiful.
Why is it Bernard? I'm a vegetarian. I don't like that reference.
Behave.
Fair enough. Yeah, so it's absolutely ridiculous. The fact that it was seemingly trying to compete with consoles, knowing how underpowered it was.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it does happen now. You got the Nintendo Switch, which is underpowered compared to everything else that's out, but it doesn't quite feel the same because this is when it was birthed. This is when the underpower being cool thing was birthed, and it wasn't cool. It was actually quite a disappointment.
Yeah.
Moving on, we have the controller. There is actually one just above your head. Yeah, on that shelf there.
Where?
Right there. It's massive and grey. There we go. So you've got the Wavebird controller, which personally I really liked as a controller. Unfortunately, it has not aged well. The little octagonal points on both of the joysticks is not comfortable. And it actually made games that came out on both consoles, which there weren't that very many of due to the fact that it was underpowered, it actually made them feel clunky and annoying.
Yeah, I can sympathise with that.
If you go and play Time Splitters on the GameCube, it feels awful.
It really does.
It's really depressing. The one thing that I do like about GameCube is the fact that it was my first real experience with first-party wireless controllers. And that was something that I really liked about it. But it didn't even have 4 shoulder buttons.
No, it had 3.
3 shoulder buttons, which isn't enough. Again, because you're looking at the competitors at the time. I mean, the Xbox only had 2 shoulder buttons, but it did have a black and a white button. Which made it a bit better. And they learnt with the Xbox 360 afterwards that the extra shoulder buttons were the way to go.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, having them off to the side was just horrendous.
Yeah, and then with the Elite controller, they then learnt that having extra shoulder buttons on top of that, so they had an extra 4 with the Elite controller that you were underneath the little handle bits. But the GameCube controller wasn't comfortable, and it didn't control well on most things. It didn't feel smooth. When you've got an underpowered console playing underpowered games, you think, well, at least they can try and make them smooth. And a lot of the time, they managed that.
Yeah.
And then the controller screwed that up.
Yeah, the controller is just a very weird for the sake of weird design.
Yeah. I mean, it did the right thing with the offset of the joysticks.
Yes, absolutely.
Big thumbs up for that. Big different sized thumbs for that.
Yes.
But it is how I prefer to play.
Absolutely.
So it does have that going for it. But really, it just felt horrible. And it was too lightweight as well. It should have been smoother. It ruined some really, really good games. Now let's talk about some games. So, the GameCube only had one 3D Mario title.
Yeah, only one main entry title.
Yeah. And that was Sunshine.
Oh, I hate Sunshine so much. Oh, it's not even funny. I really hate Sunshine so much.
Yeah. Sunshine is a massive pile of shit. It decided that after the success of Mario 64 and what it could do, rather than trying to make Mario 64 better and release almost a Mario 64 2, which is what everybody really wanted, they decided, well, what we'll do is we'll give him a jetpack powered by water.
Called Flood.
Yeah, and make him piss out bonfires all day.
Yeah, it was really bad. It was really, really bad.
That, paired with that dodgy 8-piece joystick controller, made it feel awful. Sunshine is just a horrible, horrible game.
Oh, it's so bad. So bad.
The music was mediocre.
Mediocre at best, which is a heinous crime in a Mario game.
Yeah. It was colourful for the sake of being colourful.
Mm-hmm.
There was no reason. There didn't seem to be enough variety in what was going on.
The new species that they brought in, I can't remember what they were called, who lived on the island. They had the weird nose.
Yeah. Just no imagination.
Weren't feeling them.
Absolutely pointless. There was nothing good about that game. Absolutely nothing. The only good thing that has come from that game in recent years has been the fact that the speedruns, to watch some of the speedruns is quite funny, because even the people that speedrun the game don't like the game.
Yeah, you do see that actually quite often.
Yeah, that's how much people don't like it.
Mm-hmm.
It's depressing.
It is.
I was scrolling through some forums earlier on today, because this wasn't the original video that we were going to do.
No.
We were going to do a different one, but I was scrolling through some forums, just reading some bits and pieces and getting some general opinion on another topic. And one of the phrases that came up was, they were talking about the CDI, and they were saying that there isn't a bad Zelda game.
What?
It's like, well, talking about good games on the CDI. It's like, well, there's a Zelda game on the CDI.
That's terrible.
I've never played it, but there's never been a bad Zelda game, right? Wrong. Wind Waker.
Wow.
I've spoken about this before.
Ruffled
Wind
feathers.
Waker looked awful.
Ruffled feathers.
It looked awful on purpose. They gave it a terrible art style, which, compared to Sunshine, it looks better than Sunshine now, but at the time, it looked like a kid's drawing.
Yes.
It was miserable. There was nothing fun. And previous Zelda games had a kind of dark-ish feel. Mm-hmm. And they'd made it feel that way. So you had this contrast between these kind of beautiful sceneries and then these really dark moments which pulled it in. And Wind Waker didn't bother with that.
Wind Waker it lacked a certain amount of charm that the other Zeldas had. Which they possessed. Sorry, it extended its playtime because they rushed it out. I think they ended up having to rush it out, so they cut about 3 or 4 temples.
So it wasn't even a full game.
No, and to make up for that, they just put in really long travelling segments on a boat, and the Tingle map segments, which are god awful.
We've cut out some really interesting dungeons, so what we'll do is we'll just make the travelling segments longer so the game feels bigger. Mm-hmm. That's lazy.
Yeah, it was lazy. It was the first dungeon as well. I think if it even counts as one, like the first kind of semi-dungeon that you do where you go and get your sword back. You go to the tower, I can't remember what it's called. It's just pony. It's just absolutely terrible. And I know the Deku Tree in Ocarina of Time is easy, but it still had a lot of charm. The music was great. The feel of it was good. Yeah. The tone, it set the tone for the game, whereas I just felt in Zelda, it just always... it just didn't feel good. The sound effects didn't sound as good, which sounds weird, but they didn't.
I agree.
They didn't sound good. Like, they just didn't make me... Like, they really bothered me playing it, that they sounded the way that they did. They
clanged in the ear.
Yeah.
Yeah, I completely agree.
They kept the whole magic musical instrument sort of vibe, but they went for a conductor's baton instead of a weapon. Instead of an instrument. So you just conducted this this choral kind of choir to do the tunes, and it didn't sound good either. Like none of the songs sounded good. It was just it just had so many issues going for it that it shouldn't be in a Zelda game. And this game had them in abundance. Yeah.
Another thing that I'd like to talk about games-wise, because a lot of people have pointed this out in the chat. I'm not going to read out the names individually, but lots of people have said it. Metroid Prime.
I love Metroid Prime. I can't say anything
That
bad about
also
it.
sucked balls.
No, that's not the game I thought about, sorry.
Metroid Prime sucks balls. And the reason Metroid Prime sucks is because it does this horrible open world thing that is the least open world ever. And you have to look through for stupid things in stupid places to try and move on to the next thing. And if you've got this point here and you've made it all the way to this point here, and somewhere in here now you've picked up Object X, is now a new route that you can take off to Area C. And if you go back, if the object's here, and you go back all the way to here, and then you have to come all the way back to here to try and find that thing because you missed it on the first pass, it's ridiculous. The game was boring and annoying.
Yeah, we discussed this, didn't we, in games that everyone loves that we don't. We went into great depth about why you really dislike Metroid games.
And this is now my overview of that.
Yeah.
Another thing that they tried to do, which is weird, it was Final Fantasy Chronicles.
Sounds right.
That was on this with the peripherals.
I think so. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
We played it on stream, didn't we?
Oh no, was that fun? No, it wasn't Final Fantasy. We played Zelda.
Oh yeah, we did play Final Fantasy
Swords.
as well. I'm sure it was Chronicles.
I think we played Four Swords
with the extra adapter.
I only remember
that was right. That wasn't
game.
the Gamecube, wasn't it?
I'm not sure. It could be Crystal Chronicles.
Yeah.
Could be. I don't know if we did do it, but
we did. Terrible. Absolutely terrible.
It must have been. I can't remember.
I think, oh my god, that's awesome. Nintendo's getting another Final Fantasy game. Fucking wrong.
Yeah. No.
Couldn't have been more wrong. The game's a massive pile of crap, and then they try and link in their Game Boy Advance as an extra peripheral.
And it just didn't work at all.
No, absolutely awful.
Certainly not for streaming.
No, definitely not for streaming. Because we also played that 4-way Zelda game.
Four Swords Adventure.
Yeah, which is also terrible and not fun and boring as hell. Mm-hmm. Again, this comment that I read online earlier, is there a bad Zelda game? Yes, there's 2 of them on the Gamecube.
Alone, yeah.
Plus the extras. Disgusting. Absolutely miserable.
Yeah, I mean, there was a game that I see come up in the comments a fair bit.
Go.
Because obviously there are some good games on the console. There is Super Smash Brothers Melee.
Yeah, Melee's good.
And I really love Melee.
Yeah, Melee's great.
Like, it's the best Smash Brothers.
It is,
the toxic community that surrounds it is horrendous.
Yeah, ruins the game.
Like, the competitive community around it is horrendous.
Yeah.
But, as a game on its own to play with your friends and stuff, yeah, no, it's absolutely top drawer. And even to play it on your own, go through and complete it and unlock everything, it was a lot of fun.
It felt fun.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
The restart point just said F-Zero was good. F-Zero on the Super Nintendo was amazing. Yes, I agree. I don't know why we're bringing that up now, though. Because that was the only one that was good. There you go.
There's absolutely tons of games that I think could be mentioned on this that are either good or terrible. I mean, Top Hat Game Man just brought up Sonic Adventure 2 attracted a new generation of Sonic fans who ruined the franchise by liking Shadow.
Exactly. Shadow is a useless character.
Sonic Adventure 2 was on Gamecube, was it?
Yeah, I think so.
Or was it?
Sonic Adventure, I don't know. The game's terrible. Sonic Adventure's terrible.
Yeah. No, it's not.
It's no Star Fox Adventure, which was actually an alright game.
It's better than Star Fox Adventure. It's better. Star Fox Adventure doesn't have Froggy, Big the Cat.
Yeah, it's still a terrible cat. Anyway, so yeah, there are a handful of okay games, but the problem is that there are good games. There are games that are on the console that should have been good, which were absolute dog shit.
Yeah. I mean, it should have been served better by Nintendo.
Like, games were coming out that people should have been excited for, and they had to seemingly pretend to be excited for them. Mm-hmm. Because you still get a handful of people that go, Sunshine was brilliant.
No, but it's not. It's not, is it? You're just...
Sorry, did you hit your head really hard?
Trying to be a hipster about that. That's all you're doing.
Yeah. Absolutely ridiculous. Another thing that was absolutely stupid on Nintendo's part was the discs that they released their games on.
Oh, it'll be the...
Yeah,
baby
because
disc.
initially when I was a kid, I was like, oh, they're quite cool. Easier to take to your mates. Little thing, fits in your pocket. Brilliant. until you realise what they actually had to do to make them that small. And that's reduce the memory size, the capacity of the discs by a ridiculous amount, which then meant the games were shitter. So you could stick them in your pocket. Which obviously wasn't the true reason. The true reason is that Nintendo are greedy arseholes that didn't seem to be bothered to create actual anti-piracy measures and just went, we'll just create third-party discs instead. Like, just completely proprietary discs that can only be used in this console. And we'll just keep them, not give them out to anybody. And then people won't pirate our games.
But it didn't work.
It didn't work. No, they screwed it up. But this is what they thought they were going to do. So by being greedy dicks, they actually limited how good the games on the console could be. Which shows through.
Yeah. It's the start of Nintendo having these weird physical media deliveries for their console.
Yeah, like Switch still being on actual cartridges now.
It's weird, isn't it?
It's like...
Switch on cartridges.
We're moving to digital media, so what we're going to do is we're going to have a proprietary cartridge. Even though everyone's moving on to digital media, which is more expensive to make. And then we're going to make it taste like shit as well.
They do taste like shit. They do taste horrible.
Yeah.
They do taste like absolute arse.
Yeah. What we're going to do is we're going to stop people from swallowing them by making them taste like somebody already swallowed them.
And pass them through.
Exactly. It's fucking stupid. Nintendo, get your fucking act together. It's ridiculous. But because of all of those things, underserved, would you say?
Yeah, I don't think it got the games it necessarily deserved to push it the right way. Obviously, there are good games on there. Luigi's Mansion, Rogue Squadron, lots of good games. But
a handful.
It just didn't get enough.
It seemed to have Nintendo 64 syndrome, and not a lot of people talk about that.
It does. It was definitely.
There was only a handful of exclusives that were actually worth buying, and actually, the ones that weren't exclusive, they weren't worth buying either, because you could get a better experience playing them on almost any other console.
That's it. Any third-party games were better on
any other option
console
that you could possibly think of.
But that's like Nintendo now, to be fair. You buy them for the exclusives.
Yeah, that is true. But the problem is that the exclusives were shit as well.
Not on the Switch. They turned it around for the Switch quite well, but on the whole...
On the whole, it does not feel good.
No, it certainly doesn't.
Which is why I don't sit on my Gamecube. No?
No, you're not meant to.
Sly joke? No. So I think the conclusion to this is these are all the reasons why I hate the Gamecube. And I don't think any of them are really arguable.
Well, I'd like to see people's arguments about them in the comments section.
Oh, and that is where?
Down below.
Down below, yeah. Because we're YouTubers, so we obviously think that everybody that watches this channel is stupid and doesn't know where the comment section is. We would like to know your opinions. Argue with me in the comment section, because I would like to hear your arguments. A like for this video always helps. If you're watching this live, you can go back and watch it later and add a comment in, and I'll do my best to reply to them all. I'll do my very best. I'm not working a lot this week, so I have a lot of time. Lot of time.
You do.
But right now, I don't have a lot of time to get over to twitch.tv/Top Hat Chat, where we have a special guest for the evening who's going to be joining us to play some games. If you want to know who it is, you have to come over and join us. It's not Top Hat Gaming Man.
No, it's not.
He might come back once I'm perfectly sure that he has decontaminated himself from his trips across Europe.
Good point.
There we go.
Good point.
You can find us at all the usual places. Our Twitter handles are currently across the bottom of the screen, just down there somewhere. You can also find us on Instagram. Just search for Top Hat Chat, as well as our individual names. You can find us there. We do have a Patreon, which you can go and find. Just search for Top Hat Chat. And I'd also like to take this time to thank our current patrons over on Patreon. And that is Seabass the Great, Andy Aldrich, Vladus, Mark Bell, Tom Elliott, and Vamtonius. Thank you all for your patronage. It is greatly appreciated. Have I missed anything?
No, that's it. I think you got all the bases covered. Nice.
If you've enjoyed this video, and you're new to the channel, it's always worth maybe giving us a subscribe.
Yeah, give us a subscribe, and then you'll get updated when we go live.
Yeah, you don't have to join the notification squad, but if you fancy, that is something that makes me feel ill. And I won't be saying it again. I apologise. But right now we're heading over to twitch.tv/Top Hat Chat to play some games. We haven't decided what we're going to start with yet, so you have to come over and find out. But I'd like to thank you all for your time, and we'll see you guys next time. Is there anything else you're going to say?
Bye-bye, everybody.
God, every time.
Bye-bye.
Oh, it makes me ill. Why'd you do that? Seriously, why?
Because it's fun. It's fun.